Hi guys, I'm Swampfox and welcome to this Vepr Hunter modding guide for patch 11.7. This weapon is an absolute beast for the price. Now I know there are not a lot of mod options available for this weapon yet, but there are a few neat tips and tricks I figured I'd share with the community. I noticed a lot of times when I kill a player, they'll often have a dovetail based sight on it. And while this isn't too bad, but the thing is it kind of floats really high on the weapon. As you can see here, and it feels kind of wonky when you're carrying it around. It blocks a lot of your vision on the screen. I see a lot of people asking how to kind of like lower the sight. The first thing I always do is pull the rear sight right off. Get yourself a TT01 from Prapor level 2 for about 3,000 rubles, or just from the flea market if your Prapor's not level 2 yet. Stick that in place of the rear sight, and now you can put any reflex sight on top. Look at that. Nice and close. Now I've got both of these in raid right here just to show you the difference. This is with the PK sight on it. This is with a dovetail sight. Let's see how much of your vision is just kind of obscured. Like if there's a guy right over here, I might not even see him. Another thing worth noting is that on the higher sights, if you're up real close to your target, your bullet's not actually going to hit where the dot is. As you can see, it's a little low just because the sight's so high. But on your closer sight, a lot better, a lot closer. Now, if you're farther away, this shouldn't make too much of a difference. Yeah, see, that was pretty much spot on. Still worth noting.
Nice move.
Now something else that's pretty cool you can do with this weapon, and this is something I saw Smoke doing on stream, this isn't something I thought of, is that if you do have the TT01 and a close sight on, you can also carry around with you PSO1M2 or the PSO1, either one, be able to stick right on top. Unfortunately the PSO-IM2-1 doesn't work. But what he was doing is he'd carry it around in his gamma, and then when he'd see a target at long range, like on shoreline or something, he'd just quickly slap it on. And even though it looks a little weird, when you zoom in, it'll prioritize the PSO scope first until you switch it. So this will kind of let you fight your range targets, and then when you want to go into, say, the resort, just take it off, stick it back in your secure container. Here's a quick little demonstration of the switch. Just pop it out. It's gonna take a sec. You could also put your bring your melee weapon out to do it real quick, but I don't think it's actually that much faster. But you can actually switch between the two sights while these are on. It'll just be kind of weird. I guess it's potentially useful if somebody gets up close on you while you're zoomed in. But for the most part, you're just doing it to have a long range option, but not have to walk around with this massive thing on your gun. And when you're done, just put it away. Now, if you want a different 4x option, or a different any long range option other than a PSO scope, as far as I can tell, your options are either to get an Axion Cobra mount or the B13 rail. There's not a huge difference between the two. I noticed the Axion feels just a little bit closer to the weapon, just a teeny tiny bit, than the Cobra, which is kind of has this little bit of a right angle. However, the Cobra, as far as I can tell, seems to be the only way to get either a laser or a flashlight onto the weapon. I'll show you a little demonstration in raid. So here's with the B13 rail. Obviously it looks a little funky. This gun is taking up a lot of your screen, but it does at least let you use a different 4x if you just want to try it out. Now the Cobra mount, this is quite the monstrosity. If you put a laser or a flashlight on it. At closer range, the laser's right on. But because it's so far out to the right, if you look when I'm zoomed in here, I don't know how well you can see it, but the laser is up and to the left, kind of my reticle. Though at this point, I mean, the laser's more for point shooting anyway, so it's probably not as important. You could always shut it off just to not give away your position anyway. But worth noting that it's at least an option.
Nice move.
Now there are two night vision sights available for this gun. the NSPU-M, which goes right on the dovetail, and then the Vulcan MG night scope. This will require an ARMA sight. You'll have to link it into this and then onto the B13 or Cobra. If you're ever wondering how to get a sight on a gun, if you're like, what the heck, this doesn't fit, just right click, link search, and it'll show you all the stuff that it works with. So put that on there, and then we'll put it on the B13 so it'll be a little closer. I'll just try these bad boys out real quick. So with this is the NSPU. As you can see, the amount of vision you get is next to none. I think you'd be far better off just equipping some NVGs. The Vulcan's not too bad though. A lot wider. A lot more of a crisp view. It doesn't like kind of fuzz out on you. So there might be some application for this one, but I would recommend steering clear of the NSPU. Especially because it also makes your weapon twice as fat. As you can see, this is taking up 10 slots, but this one would only take up 5. Next, I just wanted to talk about the ammo options available for this gun. And guys, if you're enjoying the video, make sure to like and subscribe, and also feel free to drop by on Twitch anytime. I stream just about every day, and I'd love to hear your thoughts or if I left anything out. TTV, by the way. So this ammo chart is from the Gamepedia's website. I would highly recommend starting with M80 ammo. It doesn't have quite as much armor penetration, but it has super high damage, and still a 45 penetration is enough to get through pretty decently high level armor. You should be able to crack through a Gen 4 pretty easily with M80, and these are only about $2 around, $2 US. Then we have M62, which is actually a green tracer, just FYI, so keep that in mind. You know, just make sure you don't get seen as easily unless you want tracers, but those have basically the same damage but higher penetration, and those are closer to $4 around. And then you have the M61s, which are locked behind Wet Job Part 6, and you need Peacekeeper Loyalty Level 4 to buy for about $6 around, or you can get them on the flea market for closer to $8 or $9 around. Those have insane penetration. You can basically just wreck through any armor in just a few shots. The scavs who spawn with Vepr Hunters seem to always have M61 in their guns, so definitely watch out for those. And if you kill an AI scav that had a hunter, it's probably worth the time to strip all his magazines and take that ammo with you if you can, because that's pretty valuable. I mean, even a stack of like 25 rounds is going to get you close to 25,000 rubles. Lastly, I just want to end by demonstrating these 6 less commonly used sights. I think they get overlooked because they require a specific mount, and I'm not sure if that maybe scares people off or if they just prefer the ease of the more basic ones, but I think these all have their merit. And if you're ever not sure how to mount any one of these, just right click it and hit link search, and I'll show you what it can stick onto. In each of these cases, I just bought the lowest profile one possible just to keep it closer to the gun. Thanks for watching my first YouTube video. I hope it helped you guys out. Feel free to drop by the stream anytime if you just want to chat, if you have any Tarkov questions, or if you have any feedback about the video. Thanks again. Going for it? Oh my god!